Good evening, my Roslins and Rosikins. Mother is back. And in this episode, I want to talk about, or video, I want to talk about how light skin exoticals are being under and are under attack by the Black community, specifically, as we can see, unambiguous Black women YouTubers and whatnot that are saying they're flops, they're this, they think they're all that, etc. Some of these lighter skinned exotical sisters of ours, my beautiful Rosalind, are people like Cardi B, Tyla, Ice Spice, etc. Doja Cat. I'm sure there are many more that I have seen and have been like, wow. Like, why all the hate for these women? And yes, one could say that some might say they've said controversial things in the past. Although Tyla, I've never heard her say anything controversial against unambiguous Black women or the Black community here in America, right? And excuse mother, I'm coming off of a cold, so excuse me. So, I just think it's very telling how the Black community has so much smoke for these exoticals, but not for their fellow unambiguous Black women that are not doing as great career-wise as these same exoticals. So let's get into it. Okay. So do you all notice how light-skinned exoticals are treated? And I'm going to use these women as an example that I mentioned earlier in the video. Um, But I want you to think about yourself as a lighter skin exotical if you're listening, or for my brown sis dark skin exoticals, my Rosalind's, your fellow sister lighter skin exoticals that you might know, be best friends with, etc. I have sisters that are lighter skin exoticals, and I have a best friend that's a lighter skin exotical. Think Janae Ayoko type of beauty, so pretty. But for me, I can't just continue to see the bullshit handwriting on the wall, right? As a fellow exotical and be like, well, they're only coming for those women when I think that that's complete bullshit. As you guys already know, I'm also African American. I love my heritage, but I also hate the buffoonery, the jealousy, and the envy that's given to lighter skin exoticals, no matter where they're from. But especially when they set foot on this soil or are, born with partial roots in the same community I'm from in that sense. And because they have other cultural, I guess you could say, factors at play, some African Americans and unambiguous Black people try to dismiss them and their hold to the heritage at all. And I don't think that that is fair. I think that that is some complete bullshit, especially when they are held to a different standard than that of brown or darker skin exoticals in this sense, and a different standard than they hold other unambiguous Black people to. So the first thing I notice is that lighter skin exoticals are held to a higher standard. Like, when they don't do well or they do okay in something, people try to downplay it and say that what they did is not good enough, or that they could like do better, or like when they fail in a different way. So let's say that a lighter skin exotical is competing for Employee of the Month. Okay, sure, they didn't win this time, but they have accolades from the months before where they won. But someone will use that and hold it against them for a while, because for them, they're clocking this lighter skin exotical to a higher standard of success than your average, unambiguous Black person, even though they have roots in the same community to a certain degree. And I realized that a lot of times, lighter skin exoticals have to nearly cut their own veins to prove whether it's their Black card or their other card, but especially their Black card, right? that they are black enough to sit at the table, right? But then they're also humbled by their blackness by unambiguous black people that say, don't forget where you come from, you're still black. Another thing I realized is that they're scrutinized and viewed as stuck up within the black community because of their light skin versus just because they're pretty. So you know how me as a brown cis dark skin Exotical, I've been told I'm stuck up a lot. I don't give a fuck. Call me stuck up. I guess I'm just a stuck up bitch, but I'm that bitch. So good luck with that. And it's because I'm pretty that people call me stuck up, and because I have self esteem. However, when I realized they call lighter skin Exotical stuck up, it's not because they're pretty alone, it's because they have lighter skin. They feel that lighter skin Exoticals think they're better because their skin tone is lighter and closer to whiteness or other racial groups that are lighter skin as well. And I find that to be some bullshit because they did that with Tyla, right? They say you think you're uppity African, etc. So she has two things going against her, that she's African, but she's a lighter skinned African woman. And she considers herself colored. And so people assume, as in African Americans, assume, as in some, not all, but some assume that she came here thinking that she would be praised because she is a lighter skinned African woman and called her stuck up. How is she stuck up for just existing? Just admit that you feel overshadowed because she exists. That's really the truth, anyway, that you're feeling. Not that she's stuck up, but that you feel less than her. And so, what I find so interesting when it comes down to this discussion about someone stuck up, when you're a lighter skin Exotical, you just literally have two things against you: that you're pretty, one, and that you're lighter skinned, two. So not only did you win on the quote unquote like looks category, but you also won within the black community concerning the fact that you would be considered a house slave type energy being, that you look more closer to masses children than the unambiguous black people do that are like more so in the field type of ideology. And I talked about this before. Are there some lighter skin Exoticals that do feel better because they're a lighter skin? Yes. Let's not bullshit on this channel because I'm not going to. I'm give it to you straight with this one. But does that mean every lighter skin Exotical feels that way? No. There are lighter skin Exoticals who absolutely adore and love fellow black people, and brown cis dark skin Exoticals all the same, do not think they're better, but take pride in their beauty as a lighter skin Exotical, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that. And if you have an issue with a beautiful lighter skinned woman that has a foot in the black community just because she's proud of her lighter skin, because she thinks it's beautiful, then you should have an issue with yourself if you are brown or dark skin and think you're beautiful too because you're brown or dark skin. Anyway, I'm just saying. And quiet as it's kept, some of y'all brown cis dark skin people also think that you are better than lighter skinned people. So let's call a spade a spade. There are two extremes on each section of skin tone within the black community, and we're not going to act like it don't exist. Okay? Okay. Another thing that I have noticed as well is that they are upset, as in unambiguous black people are upset, with lighter skin Exoticals when their image is globally accepted and they have a feminine collective image as well. So what I also realize is that I do like Cardi B. Y'all can feel how you want. I also like Nicki Minaj. I actually love them both. They both have their fuckery moments because they're human and they're women, just like I have my own too. But my thing is that I do like Cardi B. Does she say some off the wall shit sometimes? Yeah, but she's authentically herself. I mean, all I can ask is for a bitch to be real, to be quite honest. It's the fake ones I gotta watch. Anyway, so for me personally, like Cardi B, even though she curses a lot, says the N-word a lot, does too fucking much sometimes, she's still pretty. I don't care how people feel. And that's the thing, even with female rap. I realized that even lighter skin Zacos still get to keep their femininity when they rap, even if they're rapping gutter. Like, I love Mulatto. I call her Mulatto, I'm sorry. But I do love her original name, Lotto. Fine, I'll say Lotto. Anyway, I love Lotto. I like Ice Spice, some of her songs. I'm not really the biggest fan, But I do appreciate her beauty and that what she offers in rap. It's her thing, right? Sweetie, they say she's a flop too, but she still keeps her femininity no matter what. Meg Thee Stallion still keeps her femininity, but she's a brown, she's dark skin exotical. She's a brown exotical, I believe. So for me, like, it's just different with her as well. So I realized I love unambiguous black women who are rappers, because most of these people talk about rappers or in the music industry to some extent. Um, they are very much masculinized, even when they're talking about sex. They're seen as vulgar, they're seen as this, seen as that. However, lighter skin exoticals are globally accepted because they look a lot like a lot of the world around the world that is, has the mainstream power, etc. So lighter skin, and they have racial mixes or they're monoracially black, but look like they can be from somewhere else as well. They have that global beauty. Shout out to my global beauty twins. Hello, get your life. Um, and so they have that lighter skin global beauty. Me myself, I categorize myself as a brown skin exotical who has the brown skin global beauty. Where you're asked where are you from? What are you mixed with, etc., etc. And because they have this acceptance and feminine image, regardless of what they do or how many men they sleep with, yeah, people will still say that's trash, right? But they're still forgiven and recycled again and again. And by recycled, I mean they're given different opportunities, even despite them quote unquote flopping or people quote unquote boycotting them or canceling them. I realize that. And I think that that is amazing. Use your privileges. But yeah, people get upset. And because black people get upset very much so with them because they don't have to work as hard to get that success. All they have to do is exist, use their talent, and literally just be themselves. And whether people accept all of them or not, as in when they're themselves, they still get handed the throne. Another thing I noticed, unambiguous black people want them to claim black so bad, but then say they're not real black women. It's a never ending debate. I hate that. So I have my best friend, my Blasian exotical best friend, my light skinned best friend. She and I had met in college, and she is amazing. And she reminds me of Janae Ayoko, but she looks Hispanic at times. The more weight she has, the more Hispanic she looks, and the slimmer she gets, the more Asian and black she looks, but more so Asian. Because she looks literally like Janae Ayoko. Like same skin tone, same somewhat facial features, just pretty. And so for me, I wouldn't say growing up, but being in college, we had unambiguous black friends that were women, black women friends, and they would swear up and down, oh, she's, what can I call her? I'm going to call her Veronica. Veronica, you're just a black woman like me. You're just a regular black woman. And I would say, are these bitches blind? Like, I literally would correct them. No, I said, no, she's a mixed woman, Asian and black, a beautiful mixed woman who can identify however she wants, but nonetheless, she's a mixed woman. She's not a black woman because she isn't. These bitches have phenotype dysmorphia. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't give a fuck what you say. So for me, I was just like, are we blind? Are we blind here? Like, I didn't even know if this girl was Hispanic or Asian and black or what. Like, I literally had to ask her where she's from. Like, I can't. Mind you, Janae Ayoko. Someone tells Janae Ayoko, you're just a black woman like me. A woman with dark skin, 4C hair, broad features tells Janae Ayoko, you're just a black woman just like me. Make it make sense. Because these unambiguous black women, after they tell a mixed looking woman like that she is just like them, once she gets with a brother, as in, a black man, it's gonna be some fighting. Because it's like, how dare you? Like, you're the preference, type of energy, bullshit, crybaby shit. I hate that shit with a passion, in case you're not tracking. And so then you'll villainize that same mixed woman, that same lighter skin exotical, and say that, oh, they only chose you because you're light skinned. Like, seriously, bitch? Like, seriously? Seriously, we're doing this today. But yet you say we're the same. And I know they do this, and I've seen them do this with my own eyes, which rubbed me the wrong fucking way, quite frankly. Because it's like saying, bitch, just X out your Asian side. You just black, looking like you Hispanic, all in the same type of energy. So I know they do it to browns and dark skin Exoticals because I am one. And how they try to tell me up and down that we're twins. But if we're twins, why do I have a different experience from you? I'll wait. I can only imagine how much gaslighting and delusion an unambiguous black woman has to do to convince themselves that they're twins with Janae Ayoko, aka the same phenotype of my best friend. I hate when they do this. It is okay to call a Janae Ayoko a mixed woman, a woman of color, a colored woman if they're from South Africa like Tyler. And it's okay for them to stand in both sides. You know? And my best friend is one of those women who is a great advocate for the black community, more so than some black women. And when I say black women, I mean an ambiguous black women, because we know we have exotic black women, we have ambiguous black women. I am one. So my point is just the fact that I find it so interesting how it's convenient for Lightskin Exoticals to be categorized as a black woman, but then when it comes down to the results of said quote unquote we're all black women mantra, it's different from that of an unambiguous black woman because they are not twins. And that's just the facts, and they are not the same. But here is the facts, my Rosalynds and Rosikins, and my lighter skin exotical sisters. If you're a lighter skin exotical listening, I want you to know that your identity is yours alone. Just like me and my fellow brown cis dark skin exoticals, our identity is our identity alone. You are our sisters, and we empathize with your pain and lack of giving a fuck any longer about others within our community, as in the unambiguous black community, saying what we are or what we aren't, especially when we spell shit out point blank period and people still get pissy about it when we didn't say nothing bad about the black community at all, just saying what we have experienced and what we identify as based on those results. Here's the thing. We will exist and be gorgeous, right? We, as a collective exoticals, will exist and be gorgeous. And we will use every privilege we have, no matter what skin tone we have. You will use our light skin privilege if we're lighter skin exoticals. We'll use our brown skin privilege if we're brown skin exoticals. We'll use our dark skin privilege if we're dark skin exoticals. And we'll use our other exotical privileges, whether that's texturism, featureism, pretty privilege, and or racial mixes and or admixtures. I have admixtures. So for me, I use that, my texturism, my featureism, my pretty privilege. Damn it, use all of it if you got them all. But the point is to get ahead and rise above others since we're villains to the black community. Anyway, my point is this. What I've come to realize throughout my YouTube journey here as a brown to dark skin exotical, but more so brown skin leaning, is that I personally have realized that you are always going to be a fucking villain. There is no heroism in being an exotical within the black community. I'm sorry to tell you this, unless you're a caping hard as fuck and ignore your very identity and your experiences and your privileges, that is the only way you will get a crown within the black community. I'm just going to keep it a buck. You have to mule your way to the throne. And last time I checked, Rosans don't fucking mule to the throne. We own it. We sit on it. And we look pretty day in and day night for all eternity. If you are not on the sitting on the throne energy, then you're muling. Point blank period. You do not have to convince a group of women that will push you in, pull you out, push you in, pull you out whenever they feel like it in regards to the representation that you represent, which is definitely not their phenotype, but gaslight you into thinking it is. Right? You don't owe that group of women anything. They are not the only ones that gave you your beauty, my lighter skin exoticals. They are not the only ones that gave you your throne. And for you to feel low and less than because you're lighter skin, because my best friend told me this. She said, Mother, sometimes I feel guilty for wanting to accept my exoticalness and my light skinnedness. Yeah, something like that. The point is, I forgot what word, but she said something like that, and I was just so bothered. I was like, you should not be ashamed of being light skinned and pretty. Fuck that. Asian and black. Fuck that. You should not be ashamed of who the fuck you are. If bitches got a problem and want to just say, oh, you're just black, they're fucking delusional. Okay? They're fucking delusional. Okay? They're fucking delusional. Okay? And so, I told her specifically, please go listen to Exoticals United because she has a lot of great videos on lighter skin Exoticals and how you all are silenced because you have lighter skin. And so therefore, I think she'll be able to help you. And mind you, I've recommended her channel to my best friend before, many times over. She's getting into her femininity, slowly but surely, more and more. She's so pretty, though. But my point is, here's what I'm trying to say, okay? What I'm trying to say to my lighter skin Exoticals is, hello, honey. You a bad bitch. You a light, bright, shining like a diamond bad bitch. And you better own that shit. Bitch mad because she brown or dark and don't think she pretty, that's on her. Fuck her. Period. Like that. Because whether I am brown, dark, light, whatever the fuck I am, I better shine. And I better know I'm that bitch. Okay? I'm one of the baddest. Okay? And you got me fucked up. And so that is my pep talk to my lighter skin Exotical sisters. Because you better get yourself together. Okay? Okay? A brownie or darkie don't like you? Okay? Okay? Fuck that bitch. Respectfully, fuck that bitch. Because let me tell you something. Brownies and darkies don't like me either. And I'm a brownie that can go to a darkie. So my point is, yeah, what's good? Like, tell me about it, girl. Tell me about it. I mean, really though, what's good in the hood? Like, I'm so serious. Mother has dealt with bullying from women who share her skin tone, but not her experiences, right? So I think I am the perfect person to talk my shit and tell you to talk yours. Yeah, you light and bright and I'm brown. What's good? You're my sister. So get yourself together. Like, let me tell you the truth. A brown or dark skinned woman that doesn't think that she's beautiful is going to hate on you because she feels one, either an inferiority complex, she want to say it like that, where she thinks that lightness is better than darkness or brownness. She tried it. And second, because you're actually pretty along with your lighter skin. So of course she's going to hate on you, try to convince everyone that you're a villain just because your very existence shits on her self-esteem because she thinks that you are higher on the pedestal internally. That's just the facts. Now, that has nothing to do with you. Have there been and will there be some lighter, even other racial groups of women that might feel the same about me being a brown skin exotical? Fuck yeah, because I'm pretty and I'm brown. Some people covet melanin. Some people covet lightness and brightness. At the end of the day, however they feel about you, you need to know as an exotical, no matter what shade you are, that you're that bitch and you should take pride in your skin tone, in your features, in your hair texture, in your pretty privilege, in your racial mixtures or admixture backgrounds. You should take pride in who the fuck you are and where you come from and understand that your identity is yours alone to write. Because nobody walks in your shoes but you. Nobody looks like you but you. Nobody's killing shit like you. Okay? Like our mother always says, I'm one of the baddest. I'm not the baddest, and I'm okay with that. But make no mistake, I have my own throne. And I'm talking to you, reaching out into the internet ethers to let you know, as lighter skin exoticals, that you are not alone and your brown to dark skin exotical sisters are here for you, always and forever. And that we too feel your pain, though we do not have the same experiences to the entirety of what you're feeling, we know what it is to be targeted by the Black community as well. And we see how they treat you way worse at times than they treat us, simply because you have a closer proximity to whiteness and other racial groups that Black people feel are above them, and so they feel that you think you're better, so they try to humble you in the worst ways possible, even if you are an ally to that same Black community that you partially hail from, and especially from the women within the unambiguous Black community. So we see that. We see how people think that you are a failure, how people think you're not pretty enough or pretty at all, how people think you're stuck up, how they think that you're the preference, and how they laugh at your demise when you end up in certain situations with said black men that treat unambiguous black women like they're nothing according to their talking points. And when they do it to you as well, they feel vindicated because there's a pretty lighter skinned exotical hurting just like an unambiguous black woman is hurting. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Also, I know that recently we heard that Tyla was passed out. I think it's because she was drunk. She had posted, I believe, a picture of Beyonce drunk, as I guess her, saying she's fine to the public. So I hope that that's all that was. And Tyla, if you listen to this, please, honey, be careful with your liquor. Mother doesn't drink, smoke, any of that stuff. I'm not into that at all. I have a history of seeing what that does to people that I love, and I don't want that to happen to myself. But just be careful, pretty girl. Okay? You always want to make sure you're conscious. You can never trust anyone too well, especially when you're beautiful. But yeah, so I just want to say to my lighter skin exoticals, take pride in your lightness. Take pride in your otherness just as much as you do your blackness. And understand that no, you are not a black woman. Unless you are a black woman, monoracially black, but light skinned, but still can be othered as well. And that happens a lot too. But no, if you're a mixed, lighter skinned exotic, you're not a black woman, you are a beautiful mixed woman, biracial, triracial, whatever the fuck, multicultural, multiracial woman. And that is okay. Do not let unambiguous black people box you into one category where you know damn well you're not. Now, Mother has said multiple times on her channel that I am not mixed race. I am monoracial, but I have admixture, and it is what it is. Me personally, I do get asked where I'm from, what I'm mixed with, what I look like, but all that always leads back to beautiful blackness, and I'm proud. Um, and I want you to know that the hate's not going to stop. It doesn't stop for me, and I know it's not going to stop for you, because women, when they can't be you, they hate you. I don't care what anyone says to me. Women are not to be trusted to the entirety that a lot of you do trust, especially unambiguous black people and women, because they'll clap for you one day when you're agreeing with them, when you're lowering yourself, when you're saying that you're nothing more than just blackness, even though people ask you where you're from because of the way you look, whether you're dark, brown, or light. They'll do that, right? They'll say that one minute, but then see that your results are different in the world, your privileges are different, and then crucify you for it. So, Mother says all this to say that when it comes down to your beauty, know that you do not have anything to apologize for. When it comes down to your cultural makeup, multicultural makeup, know that that is all a part of you, and you don't have to choose just one. When it comes to your phenotype, know that it is yours to embrace, yours to love, yours to elevate. A lot of people will not understand unless they are colored, mixed, Creole, etc. The different lighter skin mixes of blackness and otherness, like French, etc. Unless they are all these different things like you are, they won't completely understand. But me as a brown cis dark skin Zako, I have somewhat of a perceptive understanding because of my sisters that are light and bright, and my best friend, who is also a lighter skin Exotical as well. And I just want you to know, and when I say my sisters, I mean my biological sisters, same mom, same dad. They take more after my grandmother on my father's side. But yes, I just want you to know that you are worth every penny, every dime, and that you will always be elevated. And remember, your flop is not the same as Cardi B says, right? And as Exoticals, we will continue to rise. We'll continue to glow up. It don't matter who say what, who say this, who say that. All I know is that we're bad bitches. And so that being said, we're going to continue being bad bitches no matter what skin tone we have and no matter who say what. Because we know that we are very privileged and very pretty. And pretty and privileged will get you further than hating will. And with that, Mother's going to say, ciao. I love you, my Rosalins and Rosikins, and my lighter skin exotical sisters. Goodbye.